Welcome to AstroEnergy with astrologer angel Shelley Overton. Hello and welcome to the AstroEnergy show for August 16th, 2016. So it's 8/16/2016. Anyway, my name is Shelley Overton, and I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and it's awesome to be here. I am excited to have you, and yeah, so let's see. This week, I don't know why I've just gotten off the phone with a friend right before the show, and we were talking astrology. So she just said that she primed me, and actually, that's a really good way to put it because it really helps to have someone talk to me about astrology, and it does help to get your mind into that mindset. So, yeah, thanks, Trace. So, anyway, we're going to be talking about a lot of things going on in the planets this week, not the least of which is Mercury Retrograde, and we've also got a lot of planetary aspects going on. The full moon's coming up this week. It's on Thursday. And let's see, I'm just going to get my little chart up here so I can chit-chat with you. If you would like to call in for a reading, the number is 347-994-3365. I'd love to talk with you. And let's see, what do we got here? So I'm going to do a natural chart, and I think I mentioned it last time. The natural chart is everything is aligned to Aries, which makes the first house the natural ruler Aries. And what the heck? Oh, because I'm not in interpreter. So I'm just chit-chatting with you here to fill out the air while I'm trying to get myself squared away with my planetary aspects and, of course, my computer. That's the other thing. Stop it. Okay, so now Java popped up and said you've got to have Java. So this is Mercury Retrograde Shadow. I'm going to just give it to you out of the gate here because it's going to potentially influence the show. So Mercury Retrograde, when it goes retrograde for about 2.5 weeks. That means that during that 2.5 weeks, we feel like the planet is not acting in its forward motion, things going smoothly, but it actually pulls us back, puts us in a state of mind that I find actually creates this energy of opposite. So the opposite of Virgo, which is where Mercury is going to be, is Pisces. And because Mercury is an energy that's opposite to, by planet, it rules Virgo and it rules Gemini, it can act as if it's Sagittarian, it can act as if it's Pisces. But in Virgo, exactly in Virgo, it's going to act more like Pisces, which means we're going to get more forgetful. We're going to be more sleepy. We'll be not as detail-minded and capable of really doing things the way we want to do them. And we'll end up, and I'm sorry, a little bit, I had some tea and I think my heart's racing a little bit right now too, so I apologize. But anyway, so we've got this energy that's going to shift and change how we perceive things and how we perceive actions and behaviors of other people in our world. And so what happens is, because Virgo is very detail-minded, it knows, it analyzes things, it wants to know information, it's the teacher of the zodiac. So it's very on its game, usually, mentally. So when Mercury, which is its ruler, goes retrograde, it isn't quite as much on its game, and it's a little bit distracted, kind of like I am now. I'm trying to get myself settled. But we end up missing cues. We end up saying something that isn't what we mean, or we say something that we believe to be true, but it isn't ultimately true. So things can go wrong. Now, at this particular time, of course, we also have the energy of Mars conjuncting Saturn, which right now Mars is at 5 degrees Sagittarius and Saturn is at 9 degrees. And between now Actually, Saturn went direct last Saturday on Saturn's Day, and now he's moving forward, and the two will catch up to each other on the 24th of August, and they will be at 10 degrees. Currently, Mercury is at 21 degrees. He goes back to 14. So by the time he actually gets to 14, let me see, it's going to be in September, so Saturn might be moving forward, but definitely Mars will have moved forward. So let's just look and see what that energy is like. September 1st, where's Mercury? Mercury's retrograde at 28 degrees. He gets back, let's see, Mars. Okay, so they're going to crisscross somewhere around the 12th of September. And actually, the 12th and 13th, they will be in square to each other because Mars will be at 20 degrees of Sagittarius, and Mercury will be retrograding back to 20 of Virgo. So mark that on your calendars, the 15th of September, right around there, within a few days either side as they come together. That's going to be a really strong time of kind of like a last clash. And honestly, I'm gonna predict it that is an accident moment, an accident point. And I always caution people, Sagittarius energy rules the airlines. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see something coming then. I don't mean to put fear out there, but I'm just giving you, how I see it as it approaches. And definitely Mercury retrograde squaring Mars in Sagittarius is going to be transportation issues and, clashes of physical action versus mentality. So there's going to be something that is an error, and it can happen in your own world. I'm not saying you're going to have an airline accident, but it can happen with taking a physical action and you do something too quickly. And that being said, I'm going to wrap that all in a bubble and send it out into the universe and ask the angels to protect that information and help us get through that time safely. So anyway, so Mercury retrograde, and he goes, I posted this on Facebook this week too. When he gets at the degree he will retrograde all the way back to, that is part of a shadow period because we're covering that more than once. So he goes to 14 degrees of Virgo in his retrograde motion. We passed 14 degrees, Mercury at 14 degrees Virgo last week. So he entered that period of the retrograde, and he will get to 20, I think it's 28 or 29. He literally gets all the way to the end of the sign before he goes backwards. So I'm just looking it up for you. 29 degrees in 4 minutes. So that happens on the 30th of August. And so between the 10th of August and the 30th, that period we will relive. So right now, as you're a relive, we're going to be going back over some of the things that we have decided on, some of the things we have done during that cycle. So when you, and it doesn't mean everything, it's just, I don't want people to get all worried and uptight over this because it's an inclination. Okay, there is free will. Free will trumps everything. If you choose to look at something a different way and know that only positive will come out of it, then that is what you put out into the universe. It's what you get back from the situation. And even if we assign something as being a negative, I personally believe that negative things are a belief system, the way we look at it, and that if we put, how do I put this? Many times when something happens, we may not want it to go a certain way. So we say, okay, this is the optimum. This is the ultimate way that things should work out. When powers that are beyond ourselves happen to create a situation that's different than what we deem it should be, we can get uncomfortable. We can label it something that is undesirable or bad. It isn't necessarily that way. I can look back on my life and think of things like a job I was fired from that I chose to look at as a benefit, and I ended up going back to college and get a degree. So it was very beneficial, even though it was an act that wasn't how I would want it, because, of course, everybody wants to have income and wants their job. But you can turn situations around. And I do believe that, especially with astrology, when things appear to be negative, they are actually still positive, because every moment holds both positive and negative and is technically neutral. It only takes on the energy that we give it, the view that we give it. So that being said, Mercury will be going through his paces coming up the end of the month. As we get through these degrees of Virgo, we will be seeing the themes that we're going to be dealing with. And I am seeing a lot of educational themes, and that is because Virgo rules the teacher. It can also be ruled by Sagittarius, and Saturn is authority in Sagittarius, which makes it the authority within the organization of education, of religion, and travel, and musicians. And Mars is taking action. So what happens is we have this Virgo retrograding back, and right around the 15th of September, Mercury is going to be squaring Mars. And so it is a key point of understanding action. And then what happens is, after the 24th of August, coming back a little bit, after the 24th, when Mars and Saturn are conjunct, Mars goes freestyle and gets past Saturn and basically says, okay, I know you're taking me to task for the actions up until this point. After that, he has a period of time up until hang on a second. I'm going to look this up. I've got my dates memorized so much on my planetary actions that there's one I don't have. Mars gets to Capricorn the end of September also. So he goes into Capricorn on the 28th of September. Pluto goes direct on the 26th of September, which by then we will all be ready for. So Pluto will be at 14 degrees, and he's at 15 during this transit. Just turned into 14. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to give you the accurate numbers. But what's going on is Pluto is at 15. The energy between the square with Mercury and Mars will also be at 15, or on the 15th. I'm sorry. I better just get my facts straight, huh? Anyway, there's a lot going on in September. There's going to be squares. There's going to be a square between Mars and Mercury. There's going to be a shift with Pluto at 15 going direct, and then there's going to be the direct motion of Mercury at the end of the month. So you've got a lot going on, but Mercury retrograde is going to affect education, probably mostly because of the Sagittarius influence and the square to that energy in the sky. Jupiter is also in Virgo right now, and let's see, Jupiter will be in Virgo when the retrograde of Mercury happens. So I'm just taking a peek here. Yeah, until the 10th. So right in the middle of the retrograde, Jupiter goes into Libra, which is going to be a shift and change for that energy as well. And it will go into relationships. So that's going to be a demarcation for relationships. There's probably going to be some disagreement around what's going on, what people need or want out of the relationship, because you have still planets in Virgo, and especially Mercury, which is the communication aspect, just before that. So there's talk about getting needs met. There's talk about how we can work together and still be an individual. And that's going to be the ongoing theme of this Jupiter in Libra for the next year. And that part of that is infused with the Mercury retrograde, but part is because Jupiter wants to have autonomy and freedom on some level. And being in the sign of Libra, it's going to create that environment of really trying to get personal needs met within a relationship, but still having the drive towards the relationship, towards getting something done. It's going to be a good time for the sexual energy with Mars, Saturn, and Sagittarius. There could be some sexual issues coming out that could also relate to the Mercury square Mars. It could be he said, she said. I thought you said that you were on board with this. No, I didn't say that. That wasn't what I wanted. And so there are some issues around men and women, or saying something that isn't taken right, or an action being taken against what somebody, you thought they said something but they didn't say it, or you wanted them to say it but that wasn't the case. And so we're going to see some of that. A lot, I keep saying education, the Virgo energy, and this time of year, it's about teachers, it's about schools. Again, I'm concerned a bit about the schools and what's going on with news events just because of this particular energy. So I'm always asking angels for help, for protection for my children every day when they go off to school. So I had a friend ask me, okay, you've got that, you said that, what can we do about it? You can focus your thoughts on positive things and stop watching the news. That would probably be a really great start, because honestly, the negative energy, and I don't like talking about the negatives, but with these energies in the sky, they're very clearly points of demarcation to create shifts in our lives. And Jupiter is a transition planet. Saturn wants us to take ownership of our world, so it puts up the resistance so that we can pay attention to the issues that we're truly passionate about. Mars wants us to move forward with things, especially in the fire sign of Sagittarius. So fire energy is going to probably be fanned when Jupiter goes into Libra, because that's an air energy. So air fans fire. So there's going to probably be more energy driven towards foreign affairs also when Jupiter goes in September, towards foreign affairs and diplomacy, because now Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, will be in positive aspect to the Sagittarius planets, because they're only 2 signs away, which is a 60-degree aspect. And that means that they're working in coordination, in tandem with each other, and not squaring each other anymore, which is really good. Jupiter moving on through the signs, he's going to go really rapidly, so he will actually get to an exact sextile with Saturn throughout the course of the rest of the year. So I'll tell you when that is. So let's just look real quick. It'll be early November, actually. There's going to be a positive aspect, mid-November, right around the 19th, 20th of November. You're going to have Saturn and Jupiter working together. That's a really lovely time for cooperation, and especially connecting to people of other cultures. So that's when I think whatever's happening with the Virgo energy squaring Saturn and Mars right now is going to find a really great diplomatic solution come October. And that also is in your chart. It shows up in everybody's individual charts. So wherever it's coming up in your life, I mean, I just took my son to college this weekend, so the whole education thing is really strong in my mind. And, we've got some aspects coming up about learning and growing and transitioning with that energy. I'm just going to look over some of my notes I had about the Mercury retrograde. It is about confidence in communicating your message. And I'm glad I wrote that down, because it's really true. How you can be helpful, being detail-minded, and speaking your truth. Also, the degree with which Mercury goes retrograde in the Sabian symbol is a fine lace handkerchief, an heirloom from valorous ancestors. So I find that really interesting symbology, because Mercury and Virgo energy specifically have an influence on military energy. And so, I mean, Valor has a connection, I think, in the minds, the collective, of doing something noble. And definitely the military, you can do something noble within the military. And I think valor, that just has like a natural connection to that whole thing. So at the degree with which Mercury retrogrades, there could be an aspect surrounding ancestry, surrounding people of wealth, people of a name who have had a military history, or some type of ancestry where they are revered, or something has happened militarily in the family. And so all those, the imagery of it is connected to this retrograde. So we're already in that shadow. And I don't know if, I did write down the degree that the Sabian symbol is. So it goes retrograde at 29 and 4 minutes. And that is under Sabian, totally intent upon completing an immediate task. A man is deaf to any allurement. And so that's focus and completion. So we are highly focused on going forward, which, of course, Mars, Saturn, we want to make something manifest. And then we have this energy saying, yeah, we're so involved in what we're doing, we're not hearing when someone is speaking to us. So being that there is an energy of that around Mercury retrograde, look for those type of events. That's going to be a very strong imagery for this Mercury retrograde. There's so much in it. There's the sleep element and connecting to the other side, following your intuition. Man, I think that really what we need to do is take calls, because then we can see how this plays out in charts. So if you want to get a reading, please call in. The number's 347-994-3365, and I will take our first caller. So 401, hi, how are you?
Hi, this is Jane. You did my chart a while back. I don't know if you still have it or it was from this phone number.
I'm not sure. What's your birth date?
September 5th, 1951.
Okay. All right. It wasn't from this number because I only have one person and it's not you. So we'll just get your birth information again and set you up again, if that's okay.
Okay. Yep.
All right, good. Is it Jayne or Jane?
Jane.
Okay. September 5th?
Right, 1951.
51. What time?
10:46 p.m.
Okay.
In Newport,
and where?
Rhode Island.
Okay, sorry.
Rhode Island.
Got it.
Okay.
I wasn't sure you had all the information ready for me, so that's fine. Okay. What can I do for you?
Well, I was interested in this upcoming eclipse on September 1st. I think it's going to be conjunct my nodes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This eclipse, where are we at here? September 1st. And you know what? Let me just do a September 1st chart real quick. It won't take that long. And that's right before your birthday, too.
Right.
Okay. There we go. And I'll grab your chart, and we'll just combine the two. Okay. Okay, so it's a lot about, so you obviously know a little about astrology, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's falling right in your house of home and family. Let's see, at 12 degrees it's on your sun, obviously, because that's your sun sign, right 4 days off of your birthday. Right. So it is a major energy around seeing to the family and understanding your place in the family. You got the sun being affected. Sun is ego. Okay. You've got 20 degrees on the cusp leaving that house. So it's still a little bit far away from actually connecting to the next house in the transition. But it is about a shift and change within your sense of self. And it is also within, 8 days of Jupiter going into Libra. Jupiter just left that house around then. Where is Jupiter today? Hang on, I just want to find out real quick where we have Jupiter in the sky today. He is at 25 degrees. So he just went into the 5th house. So you're transitioning from the responsible person within your family into more of a creative, connected, cooperative, what's the word I'm looking for? You're trying to create something with other people. Okay, so that's Venus is going to be going in. Actually, also Venus will be right on your Saturn in Libra in the 5th house on that day as well. So it's about creating the structure around creativity. But as far as your home life, it's wrapping up some stories around your sense of self. And it's also, the eclipse is like a blinking of the light. So it's like, wait a minute, something is going to come up into your consciousness that you may not have seen before, and it's probably going to be around you because obviously that's the energy of your chart, that it's right there on you. And interestingly, the North Node is right on the South Node that day, or within 3 degrees of the South Node. So there's like a balancing moment coming for you, and that's also another huge word for you for the next year is balance, because you've got your Sun is opposite Neptune in the sky right now, and then the South Node. So the South Node is on the North Node in your chart, and that's in Pisces. So the Pisces is really trying to balance you out and not being so cerebral. That being said, Jupiter was going through your Virgo and your home life area the last year, helping you find more concern for yourself and open up, and it is a cerebral energy. But Neptune really wants you to understand that part of your career and what you connect to in a career sense is intuitive, and you have to look to that. You have to start opening up to some of that energy. Let's see what else we have there. You also have Mercury in Virgo at 2 degrees, so you're going to feel this retrograde, but it's going to be more for you about the creative side of things, the child side of things. So you're really being asked to detach from your analytical Virgo mind and go into more of a loving childlike nature. And right now, because you're calling me now and looking at that date, the planets are moving into your 5th house. And even though they're still in Virgo, they're wanting you to really open up that side. And Venus is going in and will be there on September 1st, right on your Saturn. Do what you love. Find someone else who loves what you do. And there is an opportunity for you. You have Saturn and Libra in the 5th house of children, so you're like an advocate for children. Is that something that you've done in the past?
Not really, as more for my family-wise as far as that goes, but not out in a professional or charitable sense, really.
Well, definitely Saturn and Libra, I say this a lot, it's a sign of the social worker. It's somebody who really wants things to be balanced in the world and wants to connect as an ideal kind of situation, especially you have Neptune in Libra, which is the way you idealize things. You really want people to be cooperative, and that's a huge part of your life plan and your life purpose. This coming year is going to be huge for you. I do see shifts around your career, around the partner and romantic side of your life. Are you in a relationship?
No, my husband just passed away a couple of months ago.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, big hug for you.
Thank you.
This energy right now, you have Saturn and Mars up in your house of marriage and partnership, so that is the restriction coming in. But it's also the ownership of the energy and wanting to move forward and having expansive energy. I think that, when Jupiter gets into the Libra energy, it's going to be better for you. And honestly, if you don't meet someone else, which I know it's really soon, there could be somebody coming in who really sparks a romantic or creative endeavor for you. You're going to have that come out of your own life. You're looking to manifest something that's highly creative. I wouldn't be surprised if you have art or music or something of beauty that you are naturally attracted to, that you're going to make a career or a career shift around that. And that's coming up as well for you.
Also, my concern, like Neptune, the clarity that I have is, how is Neptune affecting me right now? I'm just worried about clarity.
Well, Neptune is up in your house of career, like I said, and structure, and it breaks down structure. That's what Pisces does. So he's kind of on a 20-year journey from this point on to just really get you aware of the intuitive side of life. Now, this is the thing about Neptune is everybody is very much wanting to have things in order, and everything should be a certain way. That's like our society. It's very left brain. It's material. It's jobs and work a day and things like that. Neptune is saying, yeah, that's all well and good, but what about the intuitive spiritual side of your life? That's what he's awakening for you. And quite honestly, he's right on your North Node. So this is a life lesson about getting past the cerebral, because the South Node for you on your Sun is about the past life. So you were a teacher, and you were maybe somebody who loved nature and was very much about caring for others, caring for family. That's what you came in with. So you do that in this life. Is very familiar to you. Having the North Node up there by Neptune with also the transiting South Node is trying to balance you between these two energies. He wants you to understand that, yes, you are a natural healer, a natural caretaker, but part of your life purpose is to transmute that past energy, the South Node, and express in this life, or learn how to express in this life, the North Node. And that is bringing in karma and the story around family, and bringing the past to the present, having the story, but also creating something, using your intuition, using your psychic abilities to tune in to what society may need from you. And so that it's a really murky area. It's going to be a time of losing thoughts. Probably Mercury retrograde is going to hit you a little bit harder, because you do have 4 energies within Virgo. And so it's going to be like, whoa, I can't seem to keep a thought in my head, because not only do we have Mercury retrograde, it is your ruler, and it's opposing Neptune. And Neptune's retrograde, which energizes Virgo somewhat. So there's this trying to understand the balance. That's really hugely what it's about, especially with the Libra energy in your chart, is just understanding that you're a healer. Don't give everything away. You're mental, but don't get so caught up in all the thoughts and analysis that you have to bring in some of the emotional side. You have to bring in some of the conceptual things. Libra energy is going to be really conceptual too. So,
I mean, I have a feeling that I want to find my tribe. Is that?
Yes. That's Uranus in Aries going through your 11th house. That's your tribe. Uranus rules the 11th house, and it's in your 11th house. You have Jupiter in the 11th house. It's all about your tribe. So, yes, that's coming. And let me see. He's at 24. He's late degrees. What do you have opposite that? He's almost opposite your Neptune. And so as the planets are coming up on your Neptune and your Saturn, you're really being asked to dig your heels in and connect to other people. And that's going to be a wonderful thing for you for many reasons, for career, for creativity, for finding yourself, for connecting to the child in you. And if you have children, it's connecting to them as well. So, I mean, it's a time where if you have children, you could have grandchildren. But, yeah, finding your soul tribe, absolutely, that's part of this.
So it will happen.
You don't have a choice. It's going to happen.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, Uranus coming out of Aries and going into Pisces for you also is going to be, not only is it going into Pisces in the next couple of years, not Pisces, excuse me, into Taurus, it's going into your house of Pisces, the 12th house. So it's going to really bring you into that connection with spirit. And your chart really shows a strong energy around finding spirit and finding how you can take spirit and bring it into the material world. So you have so much artist in your chart too. Do you do any kind of art?
I can't draw stick figures.
I actually did a painting called I Can't Draw a Stick Figure. But you actually can. And interestingly enough, I am going to be teaching art. So, yeah, you should take a class on art, beginning drawing or beginning painting. Just to do a little quick plug, Michael's has those courses. If you have a Michael's craft store close to you, they have free drawing, beginner's drawing, and free beginner painting courses. So your chart is so full of artistic ability. You have Pluto in Leo, Mars in Leo, Neptune transiting Pisces right now, Pisces in your house of career. You have 2 planets, one being structure in the house of creativity. And if it's not art, it's definitely jewelry making or something with glass. So if you're interested in either one of those, I would look into that as well. And it is a means of expression for you. You have Mars and Leo in the house of communications. So part of your ability to communicate people is through, and another really great thing for you would be scrapbooking, telling a story through pictures. Huge for you right now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's the Virgo energy that I'm such a perfectionist that it keeps the creativity. It can be a crunch on creativity because
it is.
you know, you want it to be factual. You know, it just puts down that imagination thing.
Well, you get bogged down by the precision and the shoulds. You're the perfect energy. I have 4 planets in Virgo. I completely understand. And I realized in my early 40s that perfectionism is a disease because it kills creativity, it kills spontaneity, and there is no perfect. And it really takes away our joy of life in a lot of ways because we don't allow things in. We put up the walls and we won't allow the energy in. Well, Jupiter expanding Libra is going to bring out more joy for you. It's going to be in positive aspect to the Sagittarius energy, which is also a very playful energy. The universe is asking you to play within partnership situations, find your soul group. So I would make a list of the things that when you were a kid, if you were exposed to them, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we get to do that. And go do that. That's how I feel walking into an art store every time, even now. I walk in an art store, I'm like, wow, look at all the color. Look at all the possibilities. It's so awesome. And that's it, you know. And photography does that for me, too. Photography could be good for you as well.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It really has reaffirmed a lot of things that I've been feeling. I appreciate
Good deal.
it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah,
okay, I wanted to say real quick, if you're in the queue, if you're listening online, if you want a reading, just push 1 and I'll call on you after the break. And after that, we'll take some more calls. And then let's see what else. I wanted to talk about something, but I'll take the break to try and remember what I wanted to say. Okay, see you in a few. And welcome back. You are listening to the AstroEnergy Show on Blog Talk Radio. My name is Shelley Overton. I'm an intuitive astrologer in Orlando, Florida. And if you have an interest in getting a private reading from me, you can go to astrologerangel.com, and I would love to do your chart. The two things that I wanted to mention were the eclipse energy coming up, and I don't have the exact date of the eclipse right now, but it's probably right around the full moon, which is coming up. So, and then we have the full moon. So both of those energies are around moon energy, so it's emotion. And this time, though, it's in Aquarius, and it's at 29. The full moon's at 29 Aquarius coming up on Thursday. And so that is a culmination of mental energy. It is energy around the unexpected, around concepts and humanitarianism. It's really strongly about that. It's a claircognizant energy, meaning we understand things that come into our environment. We just know what the truth is. It is a clear seeing energy. It is an air energy, so we want things to be clear, and it can also be an energy of storms. And because Aquarius is about electrical energy and it is air and electricity, when there is something going on in aspect to water signs or oppositions around water planets or anything like that, you can also bring in the water element, which can create the storm, but it is air. And what happens is the collective energy is put out when the Aquarian energy or a full moon is very strong. And so it can manifest in our environment as high electrical storms or power outages. And given the fact that we are in the shadow period of Mercury, and we've got the full moon in Aquarius, it is about power grids and the electrical energy. And, you know, the whole Delta airline debacle with all the flights being canceled because of the electricity, completely this type of energy. It happened right after Uranus retrograded. So we've got that, and Uranus rules the moon. So this time Uranus in Mars is ruling the moon, which is retrograde, and then the moon is full. So what I want to say is it's a culmination of some emotional, mental energy. It's a release. There are going to be storms. they're going to be storms. So they're coming in. They're going to be energies shifting and changing, and it is really, I would say, this next month, the next 4 weeks of time are about electrical shifts, electricity, communications, computers, phones, things not working right. I've already experienced it in the last few days. You open something that always worked, doesn't work again. And then I'm not even kidding you, every time there's a Mercury retrograde, my mail, I have a disconnect of the login information. It refuses to log in on 1 or 2 or 3 of my email addresses. And after the retrograde's over, it gets better. And it goes away as if nothing ever happened. It's the strangest thing, but that happens to me every single time. So we're going to see some of that. So the full moon, again, it's a clear knowing, kind of understanding, and the emotions are somewhat detached. So there can be a detachment from mom. I'm experiencing that right now with my son in college, and he's got he had a full moon in Aquarius at the beginning degrees of his chart. So he's really affected by this energy. It'll be interesting to see what happens to him this week. A lot of intellectualizing and expressing information back and forth intellectually. So, and also a detachment from mom and finding your own realm, your own mindset and your own group of people, like the last caller, finding your people. So I think I got that covered. So I had the eclipse, which is information coming to light, and more information from the full moon in Aquarius. And then it immediately goes into Pisces. So we're going to drop down into the emotional repercussions of that detachment right afterwards. So that being said, let's go to the call. And we'll take 651. Hi, 651. How are you?
Good morning. This is Linda. I'm good. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Let me see. Have you called before then?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, there you are. So I've got, I think, a few versions of your chart here, or at least people you've looked into. So what can I do for you today?
Well, I'm curious to know, you were talking about, I don't know if you used the word mess, that's going on. But what you were talking about and what it looks like in my chart, that's what you first. So take you up on that.
You said MESS, MESS?
Yeah, did you say MESS? Before you took the calls, you said, I'm anxious to, I'm going to take the calls and see what all of this shows up in people's charts. If that's what you wanted.
I don't know if I said MESS. Whatever.
Yeah,
the MESS, actually, it's more clearing up of the messes. Yeah, there is a lot going on. There's, it seems like the last couple of years, honestly, because of what's been going on with the Uranus-Pluto conjunction that happened and now the separation of those two planets, there's also some oppositions and some major planets are really having an effect in the last couple of years. And for you, Jupiter falls in your house of marriage and partnership, and you've got the retrograde, which will be hitting you in, actually, commitment, it's the 8th house, not the 7th. But yeah, the 8th house for you, you're going to have some changes, and you already have experienced some changes.
Huge.
Is that true? I mean, have you felt that and around partnership, around commitment, and things like that?
Well, I haven't been in a relationship for, a decade at this point, so I haven't even dated anything like that or anything like that. I am in need of a partner to do the business end of things for me, for my healing work, because the business stuff just overwhelms me.
Yeah, and I see that.
Yeah, it just totally, it just makes my brain hurt.
What I would recommend to you, and it's interesting because I don't know that I've ever seen this, or even came up with the solution, but have you gone to local colleges and potentially found like an intern who's in business who you could bring on board to work for a while and do that? That might be, I'm looking at your chart. The reason I say that is because Jupiter's going into Libra. Before the end of the year, he will get to late degrees Libra, which means he's going to be going into your house of higher education. But that house also has Saturn and Libra in it for you. That's where your Saturn is, in that house. So the partnership, you have Saturn and Libra partnership, Mercury and Libra partnership, and it's also right next to, it's at the same degree as your Saturn. And you have Neptune in Libra. This year you are going to get a partner. There is a partner in your future, very strongly.
Yeah, a love partner too. A love
you
partner
lost a partner?
Really,
a love partner? I wouldn't be surprised. And they're probably going to be younger than you or foreign, someone from another culture.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, really strong in your chart. Yeah, I know, right? But Jupiter will go in and will be on your sun. And so what it is it's kind of awakening your sense of self and going, oh, wow, I've been alone for so long. And it was good for you for a while because certain aspects of it were, other aspects not so much. You have Venus and Mars in Virgo. So those planets, one's in your 7th and one's in your 8th. So you tend to be like a partner to yourself. You have this nature where when you're alone, you can still treat yourself well and do the thing you like to do, the things you like to do, and it doesn't necessarily become an issue, but you have Moon in Leo and Pluto in Leo, so generationally, and those fall in your house of marriage and partnership, you do want to connect. You like to talk to people and communicate and go out and eat and have a social life, but there is this last year, Jupiter has been triggering your Venus and Mars to really take care of yourself and what your needs would be within the relationship. And now as Jupiter goes into Libra, we're all looking to partner. And if we're not with the right partner, we're going to end up getting rid of that partner so that we can pursue a better partner. And that's all coming up September 9th when Jupiter goes into Libra. And the rest of the year, it's all coming that way. It's between September 9th and the end of the year. You will be looking for that partner, maybe making those inroads, getting it started, and then Jupiter goes retrograde, I believe, right after the beginning of the year. So then you'll get to go back over some of those issues for the springtime. And then by summer and late around this, around this time next year, you're going to be really involved in that partnership strongly, and you're going to be learning a lot of stuff from it as well, because that's where all your energy is, up there in higher education and spirituality. So Jupiter is opening you up, cracking you open. It's a really strong, positive, forward-moving energy for your chart. I mean, you're already done with the Pluto and Leo stuff. Jupiter in Libra is going to be moving in positive, not only positive aspect to all your Leo energy, but it's going to be easing up on the Virgo energy, and it's going to be enhanced by Mars, Saturn up in your career house. So I think if you're not already looking to foreign markets, that's big for you as well this coming year. I would do that.
Interesting. I just loaded up my my Facebook page. That's just where I'm starting. So I have my Facebook professional page, and I just sent out invites to my friends that are that are on my friends list on my profile. So that's the beginning.
Send me an invitation. Linda, send me an invitation.
I was thinking about that as I was listening to your call, so I have to friend you first.
Very cool. Yes, please.
I will. Thank you.
Yeah, and then definitely your chart highly supports a partnership, and because all your planets and Jupiter are going into the house of spirituality, the Sagittarius house, that alone, Jupiter is in its own house next year for you. It's going to be about foreign energy, and then Sagittarius rules that as well in your career house with Saturn and Mars. It's about foreign energy. It's about other cultures than your own, moving, traveling, moving far away, not in the sense of moving house. You don't necessarily have moving house this year. I think that's coming probably in a couple years. But right now it's more about keeping going, keeping active, and finding people of other cultures. Okay?
Okay, thank you. That's really fascinating because you bring that foreign thing up a lot. It's really
I do. It's travel, and it's connecting to people of different cultures, and that's really strong with Sagittarius. It's a wanderlust energy. They love to wander. So,
yeah, I kind of have
that. And it's foreign languages, foreign cultures, but definitely Jupiter in positive aspect to Sagittarius. Everything in your chart saying travel, spiritual growth, partnership, and education, learning and teaching.
Yay.
Okay? Awesome. Yeah,
Thank
looks
you very
good for
much.
you. You're welcome. My pleasure. Take care. Call again.
Well.
Okay. All right. So we have our final caller, and that is 407. Hi, 407. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Who am I talking to?
Jennifer.
Jennifer. Have I talked to you before?
Yeah, back in April.
Okay, I don't know why I don't have you unless you called under a different area code, because it's not under that area code. So I'm sorry, you said Jennifer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to just put you in here, so next time you call, I've got you. And tell me your birthday again.
10/29/70.
Okay.
10:42 a.m.
Okay. 10:42, you said?
Yes, a.m.
Okay, and where were you born?
Frankfurt, Germany.
Okay. Have I done your personal chart? Did we have a private reading?
Yes.
Okay. That's because I remember you, but I'm like, why wouldn't it be in here? And it's because we did a private reading. That's why.
Yes.
Okay. I'm like, I don't know why it's not here. Okay, great. Yeah, so what can I do for you today?
I just wondered what you see coming up for me, like with these eclipses and all that kind of crazy stuff.
Okay, let's just look at what's going on with those. So that's an awareness around money. Now, remind me of what you do for a living again.
I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Stay-at-home mom. Okay, that's really good because Moon in Aquarius can be an entrepreneur around the home. And Moon is full in your house of money. And so that tells me there's if I could get a hold of my tongue, entrepreneurship opportunity coming, and you're probably going to have some ideas around that and how to make money out of the house and through the internet. It's about using the internet or some type of communication through electronic media, which could also mean your iPhone or your phone, but generally it's the internet, and that's really strongly where that energy is going to hit you. And I think that you're going to have some kind of awareness of other alternative ways of bringing in income. Let's see. And then you've got Jupiter up in your 9th house. That's triggering a lot for you. It's triggering your Pluto. Then it's going to be triggering your Mars and Uranus. And so that for you is partnership around business. So, and you also have the education energy there too, education or spirituality. So you could find a partner in an educational setting through the colleges as well, or possibly a church if you belong to a church. You could, or a spiritual group. You could find someone that way as well. Someone who has a similar idea of what they want to do.
Right.
After. Oh, probably into September, you're really going to be wanting to travel. The wanderlust is going to hit you harder because that's when Saturn goes in your first house. And, Mars as well. So what happens, it's interesting, you've got 13 degrees of Sagittarius within your first house of self. So there's this definite need to connect to people of other cultures and the wanderer. Then you have 23 degrees of Capricorn in your first house as well. So you're going to have a little freedom-loving energy going on coming up here. Let me see when Saturn gets to that degree. So it's going to happen right after the 22nd of October, the fall time. Strong desire to wander and go and find and seek out. So what you're doing with that is you're actually seeking out a higher understanding of your own nature. Okay? You're finding out who you are. And right now Saturn and Mars in your 12th house is saying, remember this? Are you feeling like, wow, I've got it in the back of my mind. I'm having dreams of going different places. I'm having, this desire is starting to arise in you. When October comes, it'll be like, oh, heck no, we got to go. And so, that's actually Saturn. That's when Saturn takes hold. But Mars is going to get there before then. And Mars is going to get there the beginning of September. So I wouldn't be surprised if you have an opportunity come up to go somewhere that you want to go to. And I would say if it comes up or you get the idea, make it happen because your soul wants it. That's what Spirit's trying to tell you right now, is to get going and to remember your childlike nature, the nature where you go and just follow what you want to do. Like, hey, I don't have to answer to anybody. I know there's that responsible energy, and you have a strong Virgo energy, you have strong Scorpio energy. You're a very committed person, very intense and sincere. But Sagittarius wants you to lighten up a bit, and definitely coming up September, and when Saturn gets there in October, that's what you're about. You're about to travel. And I know it's in everyone's chart, but how it affects each individual is different. For you, it's going to be about finding yourself. It really is about 2.5 years of really finding yourself. You're going to go through this period of awakening and enlightenment, and then you're going to do something about it that brings it into the material world and actually gets you some money coming up. And it's going to be major life change. Yeah, it's really, I'm looking at Saturn coming to Pluto with you, and it's going to hit right on the cusp of your house of money. So the universe is saying when it happens, hey, you've got to do something with this. And that's coming up in the next couple of years, literally. 23 degrees. I'm just looking for when it's going to happen. Yeah, Saturn on Pluto. It'll be around 2018, 2019. You're going to really be making something happen there. So, into the next decade even. That's like a shift and change for you. So, a lot going on.
Yeah, I'm feeling anxiety, like all this different energy.
Yeah, well, thank you for saying that. One more thing with the full moon in Aquarius can be anxiety, because mental energy, it's like we have so many thoughts racing through our brain that we feel like we can't ground. If you do grounding exercises like yoga, walking in the yard barefoot, sending energy out through your heels into the roots, that all will help you with anxiety. And also, it's like what happens is we pick up energy from everyone around us. So when you're in crowds, I had this happen to me at the college this weekend with my son, people started coming in. I'm like, I can't take it, because you pick up other people's energy, especially all your Scorpio energy. So definitely ground. Spend some alone time if you have to. You got Venus and Neptune in the 12th, so take that alone time. You got all these planets in Virgo, need the alone time, because you're going to be with other people in the next couple of years. All the energy is moving towards connecting. And when Saturn and Mars get out into Sagittarius in your first house, it's about playing, it's about being around people, taking action, exercise, entertainment, amusement, all of that. So you're going to be around people. So don't forget to ground so you don't get a little anxious. But definitely the next couple days, anxiety can get stronger. Okay.
Right. Okay, well, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call back. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, that's the show for this week, and I look forward to talking to you next week with lots more aspects, and we'll see you then. Take care. Bye. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com.